Well, I guess the music paused. We're still loading in, right, guys? We still have more people joining us. How's everybody doing? This is Neil from the community manager at Moonbeam Foundation. We wanted to set up this community call with everybody. I think we're still waiting on some more people, right? So I asked the team to prepare some dad jokes. I know Sicco was excited to talk about them. Sicco, you have any dad jokes for us?
I do. I
He's got
do.
he's got a BTC joke.
Yeah, I was like, why did Bitcoin break up with the dollar?
Why?
It found something more stable. I'll be here all night, folks. Like, you know, this is the launch of my stand-up comedian routine. No, I don't
Oh,
think
hope
anybody
you're
would.
good at ducking and weaving all those eggs and
Yeah,
rods and
yeah.
others,
I
my
think
friend.
I think I'll have to practice the heckling. I have to respond to hecklers first, but yeah.
Well, if anybody wants to heckle, please leave a comment in the reply to the space. That's where you can heckle Sicko.
Yeah.
Ryan, you just came back from Token 2049, right?
I did.
How
A
was it?
couple of us did. The journey is long, my friend. It's a plane, a boat, a train, a donkey, and a cab ride. It's it's not close, but the event itself was absolutely incredible. Happy to share. You want me to give a little bit of an overview on that? I don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, please.
Yeah. So Token 2049, if any of you have or have not been to those events, they actually run two per year, one in Dubai, one in Singapore. This was the first time that I've ever attended any of them. And I believe that the one in Singapore is substantially larger and more attended than the one in Dubai. Not for any other reason, any particular reasons, but I will say this. I've probably been to 25, maybe 30 different
Oh, wow.
crypto conferences in the last 3 years, and probably 150 or 200 side events. It's it's just the nature of Web3. And this particular event, Token 2049 in Singapore, hands down was the most valuable and high quality events that I've been to out of any of the others. And that's not to say that the other events are not good. It's just the quality of the people, as in those that are actually attending the event have a lot of valuable industry knowledge. They had the conversations were deep and detailed. It was not just superficial. It was not just people coming to hunt for grants or investments or whatever else. It was people excited about the industry, excited about the market, excited about the ecosystem, and it ranged everything from a builder to actual blockchains themselves, to infrastructure providers, to Web 2, Web 3, TradFi, DeFi, to everything that crosses the gamut of Web 3. And the energy was electric. So some people attended the actual conference itself, some people just stuck to side events. Um, the conference itself was really professional. I was blown away that they had three or multiple levels, uh, three different DJs. So you go through the registration, you come out to go upstairs, and there's this incredible DJ playing. Like it wasn't a nightclub; it was just live music. And then you went up the next level. There's another one. Next level, there were um, great food, incredible food provided. There were coffee machines everywhere, and so it really created this holistic um, feeling of just good energy, great conversations, quality people. I mean, we had a booth within the greater Polkadot booth, so a lot of the parachains and ecosystem had booths there, and so we got to talk to tons of people IRL, and people just walking by. We saw some of our existing partners. We saw some new people that we wanted to speak to. So just all in all, amazing. And then there's the other side, which I can let Sicco talk about, because I heard about this for 5 days straight. Singapore is amazing. As a city, I think Sicco may just be purchasing a one-way ticket right as we speak. But it was amazing. Gorgeous city. As they say, clean as can be. I wouldn't recommend it, but you probably could eat off the streets because it is very clean. And also, just so for anybody listening in here, just to add, there were actually 3 events that ran. So there was Decoded, which took place on the Monday, Tuesday. There was Token on the Wednesday, Thursday, and then Breakpoint, which was Friday, Saturday, and then of course the Formula One, which was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was just energy, it was excitement, and let's not kid, we're in the part of the market cycle right now, which is the real exciting time, and we're seeing a lot of financial institutions and whatever else enter into the space. So all round, incredible event. I will be there next year. That's all I can say. It was amazing.
Yeah, I would agree with Ryan. I mean, I think first of all, if I'm buying a one-way ticket, it's mainly because the flights and not coming back because the flight's 32 hours, and I don't know that my body can take a lot of that. It was a pretty grueling ordeal. It was my first time in Asia. I was absolutely blown away by Singapore as a city. The architecture was just, mind-blowing. Really kind of changed my mind as to like what you can actually do with high-rise buildings. Like, sort of used to high rises just being kind of square boxes. And here, people really kind of experiment with the architecture. You get these buildings they're leaning over. There's like pieces cut out of them. There's like gardens halfway up the building. Like it was just, I don't know. I was just like kind of wandering around for 3 days with my mouth half open. I mean, in terms of the event, totally agree with Ryan. I mean, I've this year been to ETH Denver, went to ECC in Brussels, went to GDC, and this was head and shoulders above all the other ones. Like just in terms of, just the setup, the detail in the booths, the amount of people, the level of organization, like even just the staff, right? Like I felt when we were going up and picking up our attendance tickets, I was like, wow, they have like more staff than they actually have people in the attendance room. So that was like super impressive. And yeah, I would also just say like, the quality of the teams. I mean, we're sometimes somewhat used in crypto to like have, teams be a little bit more kind of in a startup vibe and maybe looking to get traction. And here, a lot of the teams that came up to the booth were like, yeah, teams that, oh, we already have 200,000 users and, looking for another chain to expand to and so forth. So like, it was just like very impressive. I think, there was also just I think just the energy, right? I think it sort of shows that, Southeast Asia is, I think, a major focal area for crypto. And I also think that, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it sort of felt like, people are like pretty upbeat about the future. Like I didn't really hear like a lot of negativity. I don't know about you, Ryan, but like, I think everybody was, kind of pretty excited about, kind of months to come and so forth. So yeah, I mean, same as Ryan. I mean, it is far. And so, you have to kind of make the decision as to, I mean, you lose almost 4 days like traveling there and coming back. But, just given the quality of events, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I would definitely go back. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. The energy was very positive, very upbeat. I will tell you, Sicco, I try only to attract positive energy. So we do our best. For sure. I think the other piece that was incredible, and having only recently, although it feels like I've been with Moonbeam for a very, very long time, only recently joined, and it was incredible to have projects and partners and whomever else come up to us and just sing our praise. It's a wonderful feeling. It shows that what we've built, or what has been built, what is being built, how it's been managed and maintained, and also there is a level of TLC that goes into the projects that build on and with Moonbeam and in this ecosystem, and also where we're going. If I'm not mistaken, I think Aaron's going to share a bit about our expansion on this call, but all round positive feedback, energy, and excitement, and even a lot of conversations around collaboration because of the way that Moonbeam operates in the ecosystem as this whole concept of a gateway to all these cross-connected chains. We play very well with other ecosystems by default. And I think people appreciate that because we don't attack the market from a negative competitive standpoint. It's more of a positive collaborative standpoint. And just hearing that and feeling that was amazing. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, yeah.
Great. I think this is a great chance for us to kind of like talk about why are we even having this space. So I feel like over the last few months we've been building really fast and things have been kind of speeding away. We kind of want to slow down and just kind of talk to our community, let them know like any updates that we've had. So we'll talk about Moonrise, we'll talk about Nemus, the expansion, and some other updates that we've been having. I do want to take this moment, if you're in the audience here, if you could do us a really quick favor, there's this purple pill on the bottom right of your screen. If you can please hit that retweet, we can get more people in here. We can get more friends in here, so you can really learn about Moonbeam and kind of grow our ecosystem. I'm sure throughout the call you have a bunch of questions, so we'll be doing a Q&A towards the end. If you have any questions, just so you don't forget them, you can reply to the space again on that purple pill, and we'll try to get to them either at the end of the call, maybe during the call. Somebody can bring it up as one of the speakers are talking. But yeah.
Also, let me add to that, Neil, if I may.
Sure.
Make sure you're listening in the whole way through, because if I'm not mistaken, Melissa and I may or may not just have a wonderful giveaway for some lucky person.
Oh, we're doing a giveaway? Oh, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
GG's in chat. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, so like Moonrise has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun working on the back end with Melissa here. But like, it's definitely made a big impact on the ecosystem. And Melissa, I'd love if you could tell the community about like what Moonrise was for, like what's it about, and kind of like what was the actual impact that we had.
Yeah, for sure. So, Moonrise campaign is winding down, but we started this journey earlier in the year. I would say before my time. I started in July, and we started, really figuring out what we wanted the next iteration of Moonbeam to be around February. So, we're really thrilled to like celebrate all the achievements that really have united the Moonbeam and Moon River ecosystems. This campaign was all about world building. So integrating the design, the community, the creativity, to really create these like ecosystems that feel not only organic, but like evolutionary. How do we evolve the Moonbeam brand and community? So we work closely with a design firm out of Brooklyn, to develop these really unique visuals representing the harmony of Moonbeam's core values. It's constantly evolving landscape, all the partners, all the projects that have been with us from the beginning of Moonbeam to just entering in. So our goal was to really reignite the Moonbeam ecosystem by unifying the brand. So there was a amazing brand refresh that gives not only our purpose to these key pillars of DeFi and gaming and real world assets, but also to rally our builders around these themes and rally our internal teams around this inspiring vision. So you'll see that like with Moonbeam's 3D assets, they depict this exciting new frontier, this multi-chain technology, how we're not only the gateway, but we're connected to over 100 plus blockchains with our technology, as Ryan pointed out. So these surreal landscapes that you've probably seen with our partnership announcements, or just like our Twitter Spaces, they're more like geometric. They're patterns. They're super ethereal. They tap into like this duality of like the moon, but also like these really interesting scientific organisms, and also a natural source of wonder, which we wanted to bring about with this new rebrand. So the landscapes represent not only like one ecosystem, but the projects and the communities within the ecosystems. So some of the key achievements from like achievement side of the Moonrise campaign is we had thousands of mentions, from like posts on Twitter to Reddit to Telegram. We had over, I would say, 20,000 mentions over the last 3 months, and posts. So that's Medium posts, Cointelegraph posts, all related to Moonrise. And that had a potential reach of over 853 million impressions, which was super huge, according to some of our meltwater data in the last few months. Much of the buzz really stemmed from our points and rewards platform. So the Moonrise points campaign that was custom built from Airlift, one of our amazing teams. We hosted over 50 plus quests. Thousands of users and participants are actually still competing in Moonrise points. So we had gaming related content to how to bridge, swap, stake all across our partners, including Stella Swap, Stella Swap, Beam Swap, Moonwell. In terms of on-chain transactions, we had 2.1 million plus. And that was just people that were minting NFTs, bridging NFTs, swapping, engaging with over 300 plus dApps in our marketplace. And then something that I'm really excited about is like how our NFT community is beginning to blossom, particularly through our integration with Rarible. So that was also part of Moonrise, is ushering in all these like new and kind of recurring, really staple projects within the Web3 ecosystem. So we saw overwhelming support with over 300 plus submissions for our first NFT program from creators like B-Shock, Sushi, they're like really huge NFT artists. And also just like a special shout out to the creators uploading their NFTs on Rarible. So we see you Moonpeps. It's like one of this generative NFT collection. It's giving like 90s nostalgia, like Tamagotchi vibes. So definitely give them some love. So yeah, what's next with Moonrise? So the ending of the Moonrise points campaign is next Monday. So we still have a few more surprises in quests. And then at the end of the week, we'll have a survey so you can give your feedback. That's also a part of this idea of world building, making sure we have feedback loops. So if you're minting or if you're building a dApp, our goal is to really amplify what you're doing on Moonbeam and also empower each of you to use the tools that are integrating within Moonbeam. So definitely check out our dApp directory, apps.moonbeam.network. And yeah, we're all unifying under this one common cause of advancing integrated Web3 innovation that drives real world change. So yeah, we're really excited about what's to come with Moonrise Points, and then also what we're going to be doing in Q3, Q4. So yeah, my DMs are open if you would like to see more of something, less of something. But it's really been a pleasure just to come on board and help see this vision through.
Thanks so much, Melissa. Yeah, I mean, Moonride's been a lot of fun. I think everybody in the community kind of really enjoys these like gamified experiences where you can kind of participate in this app. And again, it's created by Airlift, who have been amazing partners to us in the back end. They're based in India, and they've been working till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning their time just to make sure that this is built out and everything is set on
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
They've really
been
been a huge part of this. I mean, every time there's a bug issue or someone can't claim points, they are on it. So I want to give a big shout out to Airlift for sticking around and really building out an awesome platform.
Yeah, and this was our first iteration of the questing platform and Moonrise, and I'm sure as we'll take a lot of lessons learned from this version, and then we'll apply it to the next one as well. I think we can keep going with this. A lot of fun stuff going on here. Um, but yeah, I mean, talking about gamified stuff, big thing that we're starting for this quarter is going to be this Nemus gaming tournament. Um, I've been seeing on the back end, we'll be working with a lot of different games, a lot of different partners, and I'd love to learn more about that. Sicco, if you can just tell us a little bit about Nemus and kind of like what the vision, what the goal is there.
Yeah, no, I would love to. So, as people may know or, probably aware, we made an investment in Nemus, earlier in the year around February. They're kind of a gaming infrastructure team. Neil and Marco are the two co-founders. They're really awesome to work with. And so, what they've been kind of building for us is a tournament system where different games can, push scores from the game on chain. And then Nemus will basically read those scores and build leaderboards. And so there is like a leaderboard per game. I mean, if you think about it, games are different, right? You can't really have a game that's let's say it's like a 5-minute casual game, and then have something that's like more hardcore, like a role playing game. Like obviously those have very different mechanics and very different scoring systems. So it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges. But so each game will have, they'll push scores on chain. There'll be like a leaderboard per game that people can compete on by playing the game. And then what we will do is, so there's a couple of mechanics. So first of all, we're going to incentivize the top of the leaderboard. So the people that get to the very top, they have a chance of winning either Glimmer or USDC if they're in the United States. But then we have a couple of other mechanics. So basically, we will, we've done this partnership with the Pink team. So everybody, if you compete, if you get to the top of the leaderboard, you get Glimmer and USDC. Or USDC. If you just participate, you will get pink, and the amount of pink that you will get is proportional to the amount of points that you will earn. And then basically, people will be able to burn pink in order to get kind of like a small boost. So we're doing a couple of things to kind of gamify it. So you can burn pink to get kind of like a temporary boost on the amount of points that you earn. There's a couple of NFTs from the Lunar Gaming Festival that if you own those, then you can get a boost as well. We wanted to kind of make it fun and have people kind of, have a little bit of a gamification to improve their standing. But at the same time, it is not so overwhelming that, you can just play more games and kind of wash out that advantage, basically. And yeah, we're really hoping to kind of, that this will bring in players, right? So the plan for this is to start around the middle of October. I think right now, the date we're shooting for is October 15th. That may shift a little bit. There is a little bit of this sort of corralling the cats because, we're trying to get multiple games to participate. And I think that's the date we're working towards. That, don't quote me on that. That may shift by a couple of days or a week or so. But generally, that's the target we're shooting for. But the idea is that what we will do is run these tournaments. We're going to run it first for 1 week with 5 games, see how that goes, see what kind of participation we get, what kind of mechanics people use, how many people play, what the point earning is. And then we're going to adjust. And the idea of this is to run this on kind of a repeat basis. So pretty much until the end of the year. So, we'll have sort of several individual weeks where this will run. The goal is also to increase the number of games participating. So we're starting with 5, but the goal is to get, at each iteration, kind of get more games on board. And, we're really hoping that this drives more gamers into the ecosystem. It also just quite frankly, helps us with attracting game studios. So, when we give kind of the pitch around Moonbeam, you also talk about the technology, the EVM compatibility, the cross-chain features, the call permit, the batch precompile. But then we also talk about the other support that we can give, right? And I mean, just like a lot of other chains, we do grants, we do developer support, we do co-marketing, we do introduction to VCs. But now that we start having this tournament system, we can also tell them that, basically we're kind of helping them with acquiring players, right? And obviously, by incentivizing people to play the games, we can kind of temporarily shine a spotlight on a game or a number of games. Whether people then stick around, that depends upon whether the game is fun or not, and whether they kind of get a stable audience. But when you kind of pitch it that way to studios, they find that very compelling, right? They're like, yeah, that's not something we're hearing on other chains, and that's become kind of a big reason for people to kind of take a serious look at us, and it is helping us acquire more games, basically. So yeah, so I'm hoping stay tuned for this. There'll be more details coming over the next 2 to 3 weeks, but we're pretty excited about this, and hoping that this becomes a big hit. So
yeah. Thanks so much, Sicco. I mean, I'm a lifelong gamer, so I'm excited to try these games out. And I know we're focusing really on making sure these games are on chain and really kind of stay true to Web3 gaming. definitely not throwing shade to any games, but like this, I feel I've been seeing some creators over time kind of calling their games Web3, but really there's nothing really on chain. So it's
Right.
cool to see that we're really kind of like focusing in that direction as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited to see some of the streaming going on with these games because there's so much storyline within like the Great Escape and all these different games that are going to be joining in. I think it's going to be really cool to have, you know, these game meetups like online, whether it's on Discord or Twitch, and see everyone play. Maybe even me.
Yeah, and I think the basic thesis is to kind of try and get some cross pollination, right? So the idea being that, like, you know, if somebody's already trying out, like, say, Everloods, you know, they might also want to try it, like Age of Kronos, right, or Great Escape, or you know, Pink Drop. So, and you know, we're also hoping with, you know, by using the Pink token, we know that there's about 35,000 wallets that hold that token. By involving Lunar Game Festival, we know there's about, that's a community of about, you know, like kind of approaching like increasing like 1,000 people. So, you know, that's kind of almost like a ready-made audience of 36,000 people that, I mean, you know, are gonna, all of them gonna try it? No, but at least, you know, there's like, we're kind of adding utility for the NFTs and the meme tokens there. And, you know, for Pink as well, you know, people, because there is this kind of burn mechanic, that may end up acting like kind of deflationary on the Pink token. And so that potentially could, you know, kind of be interesting for that community. So really trying to kind of, you know, kind of tie kind of a couple of strings that we have around gaming and those distinct communities in the ecosystem, and kind of pulling them together, and then seeing how we can kind of bring people in. And we know that the Pink team at the same time is also running a campaign to bring over people from base. So yeah, like, you know, I think, you know, we're trying to kind of put a lot of pieces in place to you know, to try and get, you know, as big of a crowd in as we can. So yeah.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, we have a big, you know, goal of expanding our ecosystem, and I think it's really cool that we're leaning into gaming. I just wanted to shout out really quickly. I just pinned to the top of the space a post which has a link to our Season 5 Grants Committee election. So while you're here, if you're a Glimmer holder, please just click the link and give a vote to somebody that's applying to be a committee member. You know, they have different positions there, like ecosystem expert, business expert, community relations. And it really helps us to really build out our, you know, Moonbeam ecosystem and get more people involved in our governance. Something else that we'll be talking about, and kind of there was a forum post about this last week, was this expansion, right? And we've had some conversations about this on socials, but I'd love to hear more from you, Aaron. If you can talk about this expansion, kind of like what does this mean for Moonbeam?
I think Aaron may still be down there as a listener.
No, was, you know, don't get me started on the UX, having been in like unified communications industry for many years. Don't get me started on the UX of Twitter Spaces, but it is free, so you do get what you pay for, I suppose. You know, like you're like, if it's not in the foreground, you're like, it's like difficult to get back sometimes on your phone real quick. But anyway, yeah, no, I'd sure, yeah, no, I'd love to get into that. So I think, you know, for many in the community, they probably saw about a couple of weeks ago, we posted to the forum regarding an update to the strategic direction that we're looking at. And there we outlined a potential expansion to the Ethereum ecosystem as an quote unquote AVS, so an actively validated service that would be secured using restaking. So this would be a new Moonbeam chain or network instance with links back to the Moonbeam instance deployed to Polkadot. In this model, the core technology is preserved, including like the substrate palettes that would allow us to keep all the stuff that we've built, generally speaking. I mean, there may be some differences there, but overall, you know, we should be able to retain all the great stuff that's been built over the last, you know, 3+ years. Now, I want to call out, this is still in the discovery and research phase. So we're still working to answer a bunch of questions and doing some exploration. So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, why we've, in particular, we're zoning in on this restaking ecosystem. So firstly, why an expansion? So I think everyone knows, things move really quickly in crypto, and a lot has changed with the landscape over 2 years since Moonbeam launched, and over 3 years since Moon River launched. So we've heard from many community members. We've had a lot of discussions with various community members and stakeholders, and people remind us that we need to continue to evolve. We need to continue to work to build traction, seek out new users, new communities, new use cases. And so one of those things was, potentially deepening our connections with the Ethereum ecosystem. And this is something that we included in the Moonrise product roadmap update back in May. An initiative to open new research work streams to extend Moonbeam and bring the Ethereum Moonbeam ecosystems closer together. So this is something we've been looking at for a little while. And we started looking around at the broader landscape. And the restaking ecosystem is very interesting for a number of reasons. I mean, one, it's still pretty nascent. Also, there's a lot of parallels with the Polkadot ecosystem. Firstly, the idea is to support many heterogeneous, highly customized chains or services that aren't necessarily all copies of each other. It's not like we're just taking I think in the original vision for Ethereum sharding, which has kind of evolved since then. I mean, it never moved forward, but the idea was to have all these shards, and they would be for the execution. They would be very similar, EVM environments, sort of copies of one another. And I think Polkadot had the vision of hey, these might be different, and Cosmos kind of the same idea, right? These could be different things that are optimized for different purposes or workloads or use cases. And so, restaking is all about this as well. The idea, I think, if you've listened to, some podcasts around eigenlayers or read up about it, you'll see that the idea is to support a variety of services, some of which we haven't really thought of yet, but not always just these ledgers. Like sometimes they might be oracles or bridges or storage or whatever. So that's kind of a good parallel to look at. You've got all these, different services, heterogeneous services that are share some commonality and a common ecosystem. And I think the other very relevant parallel is that in both situations, you're outsourcing block validation or you're outsourcing security so that the teams can focus on the core problems that they're solving. So in Polkadot, Polkadot is providing validation services for the parachains. They have a very large number of validators, so you're able to take advantage of that decentralized security that they offer. And it's the same idea in the restaking ecosystem. There, you're looking to leverage the crypto economic security of Ethereum by being able to leverage the many validators that exist, or the node operators of those validators, to help secure these AVSs. So first and foremost, yeah, there's just a lot of parallels there. From a technical perspective, if a lot of people had suggested, hey, maybe an L2, and I know there's L2 can mean a lot of things to me, and I want to work on getting a little more precise in my language, but to me, typically I'm thinking about these existing frameworks like OP Stack and the Arbitrum Nitro, et cetera. And so if we were to go with something like that, let's say we wanted to do an OP Stack L2, we kind of either have to we have a few choices, right? Let's say we wanted to do something like an L2, like an Optimism or something. We either use their framework, in which case we're just going to be a vanilla EVM, we'll lose all the stuff that we've built. We can't really use the substrate stuff. Or we do sort of a complete rewrite, and it'll be up to us to implement some sort of layer that sort of work in that environment, which would be a lot of work. And so by going in this direction, we think that there is a path whereby we can keep all of the substrate palettes and everything that makes Moonbeam so customizable, extensible, and powerful, and have a layer that will work in this AVS environment or in this restaking environment. There's a lot of work, I think many of you are probably familiar with Tansy. They're doing a lot of really interesting work in this area that I think we can learn from, possibly work with the Tansy team on this. And so, that seems like a really good fit from a tech perspective. And then, just getting back to kind of the parallels with Polkadot, we also think that there's, restaking being very nascent, there's a lot of opportunity there. And in particular, there's an opportunity to bring Moonbeam's core strengths to this ecosystem. And Moonbeam could play a similar role as Moonbeam does in Polkadot. So in Polkadot right now, I think Moonbeam is kind of, in a way, this port of entry in and out of the Polkadot ecosystem. You've got, Moonbeam has this cross-chain capabilities. And so a lot of these customized or parachains, they don't have this EVM environment because they're focused on solving another problem. So Moonbeam provides, this, Moonbeam routed liquidity and is able to, other chains in this ecosystem are able to leverage the cross-chain capabilities of Moonbeam. And so I think there's an opportunity, we think there's an opportunity for Moonbeam to act as an interoperability layer across the various L2 factions, let's call them, and proprietary frameworks that exist in the Ethereum ecosystem. And for AVS services in particular, Moonbeam could be used to extend their services and assets out to new ecosystems of users. So if you think of let's say, I don't know, like an AVS is an Oracle, they may not have they're providing Oracle services in the AVS in the restaking ecosystem, but they may need help bridging their assets or using cross-chain tech to bring their assets or extend to other users and so forth across the broader ecosystem. And then the other one we're kind of looking at too is that, similar to Polkadot, Moonbeam has kind of become this venue for trading.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Parachain tokens for extending their utility, maybe as collateral in lending and so on. So we think that there's an opportunity for Moonbeam to play, again, a similar role in this environment, and at the same time being, part of actually being an AVS service. So, kind of asking, going to the ecosystem and saying, hey, well, instead of listing these on Arbitrum or whatever, kind of keep it in the family a little bit, if you will. And we think we can help them there with, building building up liquidity and getting those venues going and building traction. So those are some of the ideas we're chasing down now. I think we're really looking to connect with a bunch of people in that space, and validate these things and see if who we could partner with and so forth. And at the same time, we're evaluating from a technical perspective, kind of like how this might work. So like I said, still very much in the research and discovery phase. One thing I do want to emphasize is that Moonbeam is not leaving Polkadot. Okay, so from the foundation's point of view, this is an expansion, not a migration. We're very much committed to the Moonbeam and Moonriver deployments on Polkadot and Kusama, and we would very much be looking to keep these deployments interconnected in a very real way. So at this point, we're asking the community to get involved, by reviewing the proposal on the forum, providing feedback. We've got a ton of really great feedback, a lot of things that are, we're really giving us good things to think about, different considerations and so forth. So it's been really, really great. So if you haven't read it and joined the conversation, I encourage you to do so. the idea here is we're looking to see if we can at least get directional alignment with the community. And I think overall the feedback's been largely positive. And in the meantime, we're going to continue to work with our partners to develop a more detailed proposal that we then can present back to the community. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I encourage you, if there are questions and so forth, please drop them in the like the purple, is it the purple pill, Neil, or
yeah.
by using the little chat. Yeah, mine's white. It's a little chat icon, I think, that I can go. But anyway, and I don't know if we want to do that now or at the end of probably at the end of the space to take questions. I think.
Yeah, I mean, so
Hey,
if
Aaron,
anybody's
can I
listening and you have any
something?
questions, you can always, I think for the speakers, it's a white chat icon. For listeners, I believe it's still a purple pill.
Okay.
So if you're listening, have a question, please drop it down there. But yeah, Rhino, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, hey, Aaron, I was actually going to add something to what you were saying. I think it's very important for people to understand that the expansion will actually be complementary to what we're doing. There is a model that could work as we investigate all of this, that Moonbeam, as we know today, being this gateway to these cross-chain connections, actually feeds a lot of additional opportunity enhancements, these AVS, staking, restaking, and whatever else solutions into our expansion, and then does a full cycle or circle back where the AVSs are feeding into Moonbeam as we know it today, and then back into the expansion and round and round. So it's actually enhancing the ecosystem as opposed to being parasitic or taking away from the ecosystem. And I think that's quite important for people to understand too. And also, one other thing, as I love saying, AVSs are hot right now, so it's a great narrative to be getting involved in.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ryan. Yeah, those are great points. But
yeah, you know me.
Yeah, so yeah,
the BD side,
questions, please drop them.
Yeah, I'm looking for opportunities and leads.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for going into that. And like the way I'm understanding it, is like Moonbeam's original purpose was kind of to bring EVM compatibility to Polkadot, and right now it seems like we're bringing Polkadot to EVM, almost acting like a Trojan horse, where we're really connecting the ecosystems in both directions. But there was a question in the replies, and again, if you have any questions, please comment them in the replies to the space from Vitor Bruno. He asked, how will it affect the current plans? And I know, Piotr, you were going to talk about our product roadmap and what updates we have, what we're working on. Maybe you can also answer that question within what you're going to be talking about.
Sure. Hopefully you can hear me. So just to follow up on Aaron's words, I think it's important to underline that we are not slowing down. We are, in fact, speeding up the development. We are fully committed to Moonbeam. We just completed this elastic scaling feature rollout. So now you have eight times more throughput on all networks. And this is not over of the good news. We have worked hard to make sure that both the developer experience and user experience is getting better. So on the user experience front, I think it would be very interesting to you that we invest a lot of effort in smart wallets. So we already rolled out passkey support, which is like a cryptographic thing to leverage smart wallets also on our network. Now we are looking forward to make it a host side call, so it will be very cheap to execute, and then we should be expecting the advent of smart wallets coming to Moonbeam. On the DX side, so developer experience, so we try to make the life of the developers easier in a way that we will have even better compatibility with EVM, especially for foreign assets. So they will be treated as a fully compatible ERC20 smart contract and tokens with state querying, with the possibility of use or your favorite testing framework. So that will give you even more freedom to make sure that you are producing the best quality of the code. We want to go much further in terms of the testing. So now we released experimental feature in the client that is called lazy loading. So what you can do with that as a developer, you can use your client to basically use the state that is already on Moonbeam network, for instance, and create a local copy, in memory copy, and you can play with this state, you can replay the transactions, you can make sure that your complex system that you're building and you have running live on Moonbeam is fully compatible with the new changes that are coming, either via upgrades or maybe the changes in the code. So so far we had Moonbase Alpha, we had Moonriver and Moonbeam networks. Now we will introduce the easy forking capabilities. This will be greatly improving towards the end of the year. What I want to also indicate is that we are very much focused to improve our web presence. We started revamping our DApp, so I hope that you all noticed that now we have our on-ramp links. We also internally implemented some of the analytics tools, so we know and we try to predict what content would be the best for you, what should be worked on in the first place. We added RESTful API on top of our homepage, especially for the ecosystem projects. That way, you can integrate if you are running a website and you would like to have also the view for the ecosystem projects that are bidding on Moonbeam. You can integrate this via REST API. We are improving this even more, so it will be possible to personalize the view that you see on the DApp. We want you to be also part of the community that is contributing to this data. We are thinking about some kind of program that will increase the involvement. So feel free to check out the public repository where we store the data for ecosystem projects, and everyone is welcome to contribute to help us to build even better sets and to be proud of what we have in Moonbeam ecosystem. Then we also think that as smart wallets are coming, we also want to create the possibility for you to interact. So if you know Reddit, or if you like to have favorite projects stored in your social account, this will be possible with the development that we are currently engaged in. So I would say, to summarize this, we have now 3200 release in governance for Moonriver. I really encourage you to go and vote for it. Moonbeam will follow. We have 2 more releases this year. They will be packed both with enablers, so enhancements that are improving the performance of our system, but also with the features that we plan to roll out, and we are rolling this out now. Of course, thinking about the future, but as a product guy, I'm fully committed to make Moonbeam even more accessible, more powerful, and the best possible environment for the projects that are building on Moonbeam. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Piotr. It's honestly amazing how you have time to scale a glacier in Switzerland when you're working so hard and really ramping up our product. They look absolutely beautiful, actually. Next time, please take me. I won't make it. I'm lying. Please don't take me.
So yeah, perfect. Yes, I mean, and yes, it's all about balance, and I think this is both for personal life, but also what we do professionally here at Moonbeam.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so we're always focused on growing Moonbeam, growing our ecosystem, and kind of developing that landscape. So what next I want to talk about kind of like our ecosystem development. I want to bring up, have Kevin talk to us about this. Kevin's on our DevRel team. I'm actually going to pin to the top a tweet, a schedule of the stuff that he's working on. So I know we have a developer open mic every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be in our Discord on the community stage. I've attended a few of them. They're a lot of fun. A lot of cool developers come up there. And it's very interesting to listen to what Kevin has to say and what he can talk about. But yeah, Kevin, if you can just tell us, what are you working on, what projects are being built, and like what are you seeing from your end, please?
Thanks, Neil. Yeah, just one quick update from that tweet. Because of the community catch-up call on Twitter, we didn't want to compete, so we pushed the Moon Builders Workshop back 1 week. So that will be October 2nd, and that'll be starting at I believe 10 a.m. EST. Let me just double check the exact time. It'll be 10:30 a.m. EST next week. So that'll be with Glacis. So Jeremy from the Glacis team is going to walk us through a hands-on demo of how Glacis works to enable and secure cross-chain communication and give you more optionality. So that's a big deal, and we're very excited to have them on.
Awesome.
So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for updating. Can you just can you let us know, like, where is this going to be? I know you and I were talking about this. Did we finalize kind of a location for this workshop?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to record it on StreamYard and then push it out to as many different places as we can. So if you're on Twitter, the goal is to allow you to see it on Twitter. If you'd rather watch it on other places, we will try to push it out to those places as well.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
So moving right along, you guys may know that Moonbeam and Moonriver have had very strong showings in the annual electric capital reports. Those are typically finalized around November or December, and then they get published and created by the electric capital team, and they get officially released somewhere around January, February. But this year, electric capital actually did a mid-year update to keep all the data fresh and keep people updated, with what's been going on across all of the open source repositories in all of crypto. So this is a huge data source. It's a massive effort by the electric capital team, and it's fundamentally it's one of the prime data sources that we have, and we can look to in terms of seeing, okay, how is the crypto ecosystem in terms of builders and applications, how's it doing? So as of July 1st of this year, Moonbeam's year-over-year growth in developers was 26% growth and 50% over 2 years. Additionally, developers who are building full-time on Moonbeam, so the prior stat that includes part-time and hobby and maybe folks who are doing multiple things, but developers who are building full-time on Moonbeam grew 11% year over year and 39% over 2 years. Now, these numbers, they're substantial on their own, but they're even more important when you compare them to how the ecosystem did as a whole over this time frame. Moonbeam swam against the tide and posted these large gains in developers against a backdrop where you saw a lot of developers leaving the ecosystem. So on average, teams lost 10% year over year and lost an average of 23% of their developers in a 2-year period. So we're incredibly proud of our community, and we're happy to have you by our side and steadfastly building on Moonbeam, in addition to having new folks coming in and building on top of Moonbeam. So that's a tremendous accomplishment, and we're very proud to have you guys along. Also wanted to take this time to recognize a couple of teams and to give shout outs to some really impressive and notable accomplishments that have taken place this year. And this is by no means exclusive. It's by no means complete. This is just a sampling of a couple different things that have piqued my interest and I wanted to talk about. So let me take you all the way back to January. And January was when the Manta network quietly launched its mainnet deployment. And Manta network has both an Manta Atlantic, which is their Polkadot side, and they also have Manta Pacific, which is their Ethereum side. And they kind of launched in a little bit of a surprise, just kind of quietly one day announced that they were live. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to StellaSwap, which was one of the first DEXs to support the Manta Network token. And this allowed for people to bridge their newly issued Manta mainnet tokens. These are people who bought tokens in the public sale or just went and got them on the open market. They could go ahead and trade them, swap them, farm them. And StellaSwap really launched this pool really overnight. And that just speaks to the readiness and just the capitalizing on an opportunity, and was really happy to see that. So StellaSwap has had $1.7 billion in cumulative trading volume, and they've just notched incredible wins along the way. Secondly, I'd like to talk about Diode. And Diode is a team that's a leader in DePIN, or decentralized physical infrastructure. And more specifically, Diode describes themselves as a leader in zero trust network access software. We met the Diode team at ETH Denver a couple of years ago, and without a doubt, they're one of the smartest teams that we've ever met. So the founders, Hans, Dominic, the entire team, they're all absolutely brilliant. And when Diode was first pitching their product to us, at ETH Denver, it was a lot to digest. It's powerful technology, and it's a complex solution. And so it really took a while to kind of understand what they're building and what the solution that they're bringing to market is. But Hans and Dominic, they're smart and they know their market segment really, really well. So they've refined their pitch, they've refined the delivery, and so now I guarantee you that you'll get it right away. So they're building with Dowd, they're building a better Slack with the permissionlessness and the security of Web3. And this is not just with messages, but also with file sharing, with secure communication, and just bringing all these different pieces together. So it is a one-stop shop that's better than Slack, and that you don't need to have all these different, one app for messaging and one app for file sharing and one app for your, encrypted files. Like instead, you can have it all in one place. So Dowd's got a couple different components. They've got the app, the CLI, and the vault and the network. So they really they're bringing all of that together in an elegant way, and it's exciting to see how far and refined the application has come. So third up, I want to mention The Great Escape, and Marin and his team have built an incredible game and a community from scratch, and they have consistently iterated. They've been implementing new features in both the game. They've also been integrating new precompiles and new tools that Moonbeam has shipped. They've happily integrated them to improve their game. And that includes things like the call permit precompile, the batch precompile. Everything they do, Marin and his team are just shipping, and shipping. They're constantly making improvements to their product. And that's just an incredible example. Marin is an incredible active member of the community. He serves on both the grants committee and as a voting delegate. And so, Marin, I just want to give you a huge shout out. You and your team, you're an inspiring example to all builders. And we're thrilled to have you so deeply involved in our community. So moving right along, Moonbeam recently completed the chain integration process, or CIP, with the Graph's decentralized indexer service. So several of you may recall earlier this year, the Graph actually sunset its hosted service. And we did a workshop with Marcus Rain, who's an engineer from the Graph, and he showed us, how easy it was to migrate your old subgraphs that were on the hosted service. I had a couple myself. StealthSwap had some, Moonwell, like lots of different services that were on the hosted service. And I know that these changes can kind of be scary at the time. Hey, it's been working fine. Like, how's it going to work when we migrate over? But as it turned out, this was an incredibly easy process to not only get migrated over, but also to be able to use the decentralized graph network on the fully decentralized service. So that's been a pleasure. That's been easy. And so right after the Graph completed this, the sunset of the hosted service was really when the Graph turned its attention to adding support for Moonbeam. So I also wanted to mention that I'm sure you've all noticed one of Moonbeam's main missions is to provide developers with as much optionality as possible, whether that be in indexing, in general message passing, in bridging or swapping. We don't take an opinion and say, hey, you should really use XYZ indexer or XYZ provider, but we want to provide you with as many options as possible, and then let you pick the one that best suits your needs or the one that you like the most. And so, with that in mind, I also want to highlight SQD, formerly Subsquid, as well as Subquery and Covalent. They're all doing incredible work, and they suit different niches, and we use all of these tools ourselves. We eat our own dog food, and we use these for tracking things like fees, usage, metrics, and things like that. So I know I've been here for a while, so I'm going to give the mic back to Neil real soon. I just wanted to update you all on where we've been in terms of hackathons, conferences, and where you can catch the team next. So Moonbeam started the year with a bang at ETH Denver. It was the largest ETH Denver yet. It was the second year that the conference was hosted at the National Western Stock Show. This is a huge venue that's usually utilized for things like livestock auctions, shows, and things like that. There's actually, a dirt floor in some places in the basement, but it was an incredible event. And ETH Denver actually had over $940,000 in prizes total across the entire event. So if you missed it, next year is a great opportunity to get involved, and that'll be in February of 2025. Next up, Moonbeam represented at Consensus and the Polkadot North America Hackathon, which concluded with a .social in-person event. This was a hybrid hackathon culminating with this in-person celebration day in Austin, Texas. So we also co-sponsored a hackathon with our friends at Chainlink. That was called the Chainlink Block Magic Hackathon. That was in the spring. And then we jumped on to the Polkadot Prodigy Hackathon, which was funded by the Polkadot Treasury. With the summer winding down last month and the conference season kind of picking up full swing, as Ryan has mentioned, the Moonbeam team went to Polkadot Decoded Asia and Token 2049. And coming up next is Permissionless, which this year is held in the beautiful state of Utah in Salt Lake City. And we'll also be returning to DevCon 2024. That's in Bangkok in November. And believe it or not, it's actually been 2 years since the last DevCon. So the first DevCon after COVID took place in October 2022 in Bogota. And there's been 2 years of planning that have gone into DevCon 2024. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome time. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic back to Neil. And thanks all for listening.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for breaking that down. I mean, there's just a lot going on across the board on Moonbeam. So thanks for managing that. I'm really excited about Diode. I mean, I have so many Slack channels. Hopefully, they can resolve how to make less channels in general. But yeah, I really appreciate you breaking that down. I'm excited for all the events that we've been to and are going to as well. I do want to toss it back to Ryan. You know, you've been talking. Kevin's been talking about the partners we've been working with, and you know, Ryan can dive deeper on that. Like, who does he have in the books? Who are we going to be meeting with? And like, what's his plan? What's his vision for Moonbeam?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Neil. And well done, Kevin. You covered a lot. You took a lot of my thunder, but I don't care. I'm going to build on top of that because that's how we work as a team. So, couple of things that are important, and I cannot believe that I'm literally going to be the first one to say this on this call. Nobody yet from the Moonbeam team has said the phrase build here, grow anywhere. That's embarrassing. We've got to this point and nobody's actually said that. That is our mantra. That has been our mantra for quite some time, I believe, since the rebranding. But it is a very powerful message that we use. It is critical for our collaborations. It is a very important point and selling point, I would say, for dApps building on us, for partners, for ecosystem, for how we interoperate within the greater Polkadot ecosystem, and just as importantly, how we integrate and collaborate and work with the external ecosystem. So I can't remember who said it, but you know, we provide access to liquidity to users, to dApps in about 100 other chains outside there. One of the stats that I wanted to share before I get into some of the stuff that we're doing is, if you didn't know, we've been very focused on 4 particular pillars. I hate using the term verticals, so I'm going to say pillars within this space. DeFi, RWA, so real world assets, DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, and gaming. And if you don't believe us, go check it out. There's about 200 plus thriving projects built, running, and operating on Moonbeam. And what I want to highlight is a number of the projects that have launched recently or that are building currently in our ecosystem. And I'm actually going to give a big shout out in particular to Tiago, who's part of the BD team. He's based down in Brazil. But what you'll notice, an important theme with a large number of these projects is that they're actually based in that region. So we're getting a lot of traction down in LATAM, in Brazil. We're starting to get traction as well in Argentina. Common themes, if you think about the political landscape and whatever else, it makes sense. So a number of the projects, and I do want to build on top of Diode, but I'm going to leave that to last because there's big reasoning behind that. So I'll start off with Carbify, which is real world assets project. They are focused on basically carbon offsets and not carbon credits, but carbon debits. They have this concept of NFTs, where essentially you're purchasing NFTs that translate to actual physical trees that are being planted and helping with the carbon offsets and carbon debits per se. Another one in the same realm, so also in the RWA space, you're going to hear the common theme. RWAs are hot on Moonbeam, is Kolb. Great project, also coming out of, actually no, they're coming out of Switzerland, but they actually provide users the opportunity to get early investments into pre-IPO projects. So forget about just buying tokens, forget about just investing in some of these projects and whatever else. You actually get access to pre-IPO. I believe they've been talking about even the likes of OpenAI and some of the other projects, but great platform to be able to, for the everyday person to be able to invest, as opposed to these huge conglomerates that seem to steal all the liquidity. Then we have Tokeniza, one of the most incredible projects actually built in the Moonbeam ecosystem. They're doing wonders as far as transactions and TVL. They do more than just the ability to tokenize real estate and even provide fractionalized ownership of real estate. They go beyond that in providing the services to be able to tokenize assets and infrastructure on the blockchain. Incredible partners of ours, great project. Please do check them out. It's tokeniza.es. And yes, it will translate it into English for those that don't speak Portuguese. Then, if you didn't see the announcement, something that we were very excited about was BRLA, stablecoin out of Brazil. I had the fortune of actually meeting a number of the BRLA team at Token 2049. In fact, I met the Tokeniza team too. Wonderful people, singing Moonbeam's praise, love working with us. We're just getting started with them. This will spread deeper, greater, and wider with a large number of our projects. And of course, as anybody knows, stable coins are critical for adoption, for the use of any of these projects, and also the ability to onboard and on-ramp and off-ramp liquidity. And lastly, one of the ones that I want to talk about, so I want to build on top of this, is Diode. So, and the reason why I do this is not only are they building out this alternative to Slack, but they actually are building out a platform which you can build on top of. So recent conversations with Hans is it's not just creating this end-to-end kind of tunneled, encrypted network built on top of this decentralized infrastructure, so a DePIN project per se, but they're actually building out a network that you'll be able to build projects and dApps on top of. Think of the likes of building a VPN or the likes of building some kind of corporate communication platform. So instead of having to use WhatsApp or using Signal or using whatever else you're going to use, people will be able to actually build their apps on top of that. Now, there is additional reason as to why I want to highlight Diode. They are the first project that I've come across that actually crosses the chasm between DePIN and RWAs. And the reason why I say that they actually cross over and they have the ability to provide a crossover into RWAs is a lot of the assets that are being produced that will then be able to be either resold or invested in actually will live on top of the Diode platform. And so what we're doing with them, which is the exciting part behind this, and I will let Melissa add to this if she likes, if I miss anything, is we are actually, in fact, we are sponsoring part of the event at RWA World. It's a day dedicated to RWAs. It's a VIP closed group. I think it's about 200 people. It's the day before permissionless this year. I will actually be interviewing Hans as part of the program. We'll be up on stage sharing a bit about Moonbeam, but just as importantly, we'll be diving very deep into Diode and what they're doing and why they cross over between not just being a traditional DePIN project, but also providing these RWA resources and where they fit into the ecosystem. So more importantly, I guess, behind this is that we are actually offering a ticket to the event for some lucky person that is building an RWA project and would like to enter into a competition to win one of the tickets to be able to attend the event. It is on the 8th of October in Salt Lake City. I've never been to Salt Lake City, so I can't tell you if it's good, great, or somewhere in between. But we are offering one of the tickets as part of our sponsorship for the event, and would love to see an exciting, interesting, novel RWA project attend in our honor. And would obviously, on the back of that, love to introduce you into a bunch of our ecosystem and a bunch of the people that we're working with out there.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
huge opportunity for an RWA project. You know, how to apply, share your project with us by tagging Moonbeam in your social posts. So on Twitter, on Telegram, or Discord. So tag us. Tell us why you think your project should be represented at RWA Day in conjunction with Moonbeam. Along with that, you'll also get some Moonbeam merch. And just like to meet some of the people involved within the RWA Day, and then also the crossover to permissionless. So we'll give you until October 1st to submit your post on Twitter by tagging Moonbeam, or on Discord or Telegram by tagging Moonbeam.
Yeah, and we're super excited by that. We were honored to be firstly invited into the actual event, and then to be able to contribute as a sponsor, and really be in front of some core contributors and a lot of the who's who of RWAs in this space. So it'll give us as Moonbeam, it'll give our projects, and it will give the lucky winner exposure to the same group as well. One last thing I will add from a BD standpoint, if you are building an RWA project, if you are building a DePIN project, if you are doing something novel, interesting, and exciting in the DeFi space, and of course gaming, please do reach out to us. We have an extensive network. We want to help projects succeed. We want to increase our ecosystem. We want to continue to provide services and dApps and apps and applications, and I guess I just said the same thing in 3 different manners, and access to our ecosystem to be able to actually build, leverage, and enjoy the Web3 ecosystem as it exists on Moonbeam. So please do reach out. If you don't know how to get hold of us, drop a message in the purple or white or whatever color pill you have at the bottom right, and we will let you know how to get hold of us. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, wow, like I'm so happy that we have you as BD, Ryan. I mean, you're such a Chad, you're amazing. You say all the right things in 3 different forms and languages.
I do actually, fun fact, I can actually speak 3 languages, but I tend to just speak English because I tend to just listen to the other 2. But yes, I won't say dApp, app, or application in 3 different languages, because that would be a tongue twister at best.
What languages do you speak?
So I can actually speak. Fun fact. Grew up in South Africa. So if you don't know this, and I don't know all the languages, but South Africa has 11 official languages. I grew up learning English. I learned Afrikaans, and because of my background, I actually learned Hebrew. So the Afrikaans side helps me understand a bit of German, a bit of Dutch, I guess for giggles, I sometimes can actually understand what Sicco is saying to me when he speaks in his languages. And then the Hebrew side actually helps me understand a lot of the Middle Eastern languages. So yeah, but I only speak English. I listen in English, but I can understand other languages.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing, Ryan. I didn't know you spoke that many languages.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, most people wouldn't even think I could speak English.
Oh, and
Just kidding.
I wanted to add too with our contest. So we'll make a post with the instructions again, but you can get started with crafting your post and like shoot us a DM to make sure that we also don't miss it. So yeah, but we're really looking forward to participating in Real World Asset Day. I think that community is just so amazing, and that's what the pillars are about: getting involved with these niche communities within Web3. And sharing why Moonbeam is the gateway. Like you can build here, grow anywhere. So there, I said it too, Ryan.
Yes, congratulations. My teammate said it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about this giveaway. Honestly, the thing that I'm excited the most is the merch. I don't know if anybody saw photos circling around of the Moonbeam merch from Singapore, but we gave out, what was it, like it's not a fanny pack, but it's like a chest bag, right, Melissa? That thing is absolutely fire.
Yes, we are totally on trend. You know, the man bags, the fanny, the shoulder bags. They were very sleek, black with white Moonbeam logos. So we will continue that. I might have to mint that on chain as our official item.
I mean, these bags are super rare. Honestly, I don't even have one. Some of the teammates don't have one. So if you snag one, please keep it close. Um, but
I
yeah,
will attest to this. They are the best. I don't know what we call them. Are they fanny packs, moon bags, bum bags? Depends on where you are
I
in the
call them
world.
man purses, but
Immerse. So
I think it's
Sicco
like an
calls
over the
immerse.
shoulder thing or something. I don't know. I don't know what you call it.
I've heard it's also an over-the-shoulder bag. But I can attest they are phenomenal. It is the best quality one that I've seen, certainly from a swag store. So try get your hands on one.
yeah, and speaking of merch, like we are considering, we are thinking of how we can get more merch, how we can make more merch available for all of our community. So it's something we're going to be focusing on this quarter. So just please keep you can keep that in mind. And like this community call, like this is one of hopefully many. As it stands, I'd love to do this call, at least once a quarter, but we can do it more often if like there's updates that get brought up, and then we would need to share this with you. I love to see, everybody chatting in our Discord and our Telegram. I definitely want to shout out, our hardworking moderators, Turrets, SV Patrick, and Ji Yang, who have been, work tirelessly day and night to make sure our Discords are moderated, our Telegram is moderated, that, all of the bugs are worked out, all of the questions are answered. I just want to give them a huge shout out and really appreciate their efforts. Um, I want to do another quick reminder that the grants committee election is ending tomorrow. So if you have any amount of Glimmer, you can vote with your Glimmer. If you haven't participated in governance, this is really cool and a lot of fun. If you have any questions about the committee, you can always reach out to myself, to Sicco, to Lena, who's in the audience and who does our governance over at Moonbeam. But yeah, I mean, so there weren't that many questions in the chat, but if you come up with any questions, if you think of anything at any time, you can reach out to us in Discord, Telegram, or DMs. We're always available. We don't really sleep and don't have lives outside of work, so we're always around. Uh, you know, you can always engage with us. We try to GM back. Ryan actually never skips a single day of not GMing. Every single day he will GM. So if yeah, and he replies back too. But yeah, I think this was a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean, I'd love to do this more often. I'm excited to chat with you guys in the community, and I'll see you around. And tomorrow is the Dev Open Mic in our Discord community stage. Please show up. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things being discussed there, and yeah, we'll catch you guys around.
Awesome.
Should we end it off with a a team build here, grow anywhere? No, that
I've
little
already
corny.
said it. So those that haven't or slacking, go for it.
All right, build here, grow anywhere. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.